Good morning, everybody.
Can't hear anything.
Good morning, everybody. Welcome to this.
But you can't hear.
Good morning, everybody.
That is so not ready.
Good morning, everybody. Welcome to the show. I'm Scott Napier. I'll be filling in for Leanne today. She's a little bit under the weather. I hope she gets better soon. We're thinking about her. Now here's David with the weather.
Woo! It's me, Weather Jokester, guys. Here we go. So how are you all today? Anyway, yeah, as you see, or as you hear, the poster board fell because I was tapping on it to the beat of the song earlier. What just happened? There it goes. I was tapping to the beat of this, or to the song earlier. Anyway, I have a forecast for you guys. Look, there we go. I have a forecast for you guys that I think y'all will like. But yeah, so started off with today though, it's going to be mostly sunny to partly cloudy, but it's going to be 43 for the high today, and a low about 20 tonight, so. But then Friday it gets better. The high of only 41 for both Friday and Saturday, and the low of 25 tomorrow night, and the low of 23 on Saturday night, under partly cloudy skies both days. And then Sunday, 46 and the low of 30, mostly cloudy for that day. And next week, partly to mostly cloudy for most of the week next week. However, the precipitation chances look to be very low, but Tuesday is the best day we can get some precipitation, so. Yeah, otherwise, it's going to be a great weather forecast, and just to let you all know, too, I have 3 events for you all. As many of y'all know, this Friday night is the Fall Formal.
Yeah.
And that's here at Redwood.
Yes.
And it's in the Redwood Cafeteria / gym. It's in the Redwood Cafeteria / gym. And it's sponsored in part by the Boone County JCs. So that's going to be a fun event. I'm hoping that I could be there. Anyway, that's going to be a great time. It's from 6:30. It's from 6:30 p.m. to 9 p.m. And it's free for everybody. So come on out, have a good time. Another event we have is at the Cincinnati Zoo, starting this Saturday, November 16th, the Festival of Lights, and that's going to be going on through January the 4th. So yeah, that's going to be at the Cincinnati Zoo, and you'll be able to drive through and see the lights and hear all kinds of Christmas music that'll be going with them. So. The third and final event will be the Fur Dog Rescue Pet Adoption event this Saturday at the Newport PetSmart from 11 a.m. to 2 p.m. And yeah, so that's that event. So, pretty good. The weather looks great for the Cincinnati Zoo Festival of Lights though, so. Cheers to that. Anyway, here's Scotty. Thank you all, everybody. Have a great weekend and a great week. And I hope to see you at the Fall Formal Friday night if I come too. Love
y'all. Here's Friday with sport.
Thursday, they record. I do it Saturday. Come up Thursday. We'll be home Bay State at noon. Kentucky at Bayfield at 2:30. Come up for Kentucky. We'll be home at Thursday morning at 2:30. Number 13, you see the guys at USF or TBA. Come on board 13. You see the behind base table TBA next week. Sunday, Baker's Bay at Baylor's at 4:35 p.m. Come up for Baker's. We'll be home. Bay Steelers at 1 p.m. You go back to the first sports, go back to Scott.
It sounds like a good sports day. Now, everybody put your hands together for Charlie Franks.
Hey, weather jokester. Welcome. Absolutely. Weather jokester.
You.
Welcome to the.
Thank you, Scott. Thanks for having me, everybody. It's great to be here.
How are you this morning?
I'm doing great. How could I not be? It's such a lively, friendly audience here. Doing awesome.
We're glad you can be here and take time out of your busy schedule for us.
It's my pleasure.
Now let's get to the questions. The first question is, what does the Reds Community Fund Executive Director do?
Well, I'm responsible for all the Reds baseball and softball programming, so working with youth teams and working on ball field renovations and operating our Reds Urban Youth Academy on the Cincinnati side of the river. So we're busy all the time. We do a lot of fundraising and a lot of programs with kids during the spring and summer. And then we operate a lot of after-school programs that focus on baseball and softball at our beautiful 33,000 square foot building about 25 minutes from here during the fall and winter.
So much fun.
It's a lot of fun. I'm very lucky.
Sounds interesting.
It is, yeah.
How did you prepare for this job?
Well, you know, I've had, as your friend Andy Furman knows, I worked in professional basketball when I got out of college. So I had the privilege of working on the Boston Celtics radio network, and then I moved up to Minneapolis, St. Paul, and I worked for the Minnesota Timberwolves for about 11 years. But I'm from Greater Cincinnati, so my wife and I moved back home to be closer to family and to raise our family here in Greater Cincinnati. And for a couple of years, I worked for the Anthony Munoz Foundation, and then I made the jump over to the Reds Community Fund a little over 15 years ago.
What did you do before you came to work for the Reds?
Well, I'd say that the biggest piece of my career before the Reds was working in Minnesota. That was 11 years working in broadcasting and then moving over and also working in communications. So besides the broadcasting responsibilities, I also worked in public relations and community relations, and I worked with the Timberwolves Foundation, which made a number of different grants and partnerships out in the community to different organizations, and worked with the players to make hospital visits and to do good work in the community. So when I came back to Cincinnati, it was that community interaction that really was resonating with me. So I was very lucky to find work in that space.
Now, did you just do the radio, or did you do TV also?
Well, I did radio and TV. I wasn't on the air that often sometimes, but mostly I was behind the scenes. So I produced the TV broadcast for a number of years, and we had some very famous people on the air when I was working behind the scenes. Kevin Harlan, who's a big name. He works, you can hear him on commercials and CBS and Turner. And then Kevin McHale was our expert analyst, and Kevin is a Hall of Fame 6'11" forward, really famous player for the Boston Celtics. So we had some really great people on the air, and I had the opportunity to work and support them behind the scenes in the TV truck and also in the studio on radio.
Very interesting. How hard is your job?
Well, it's hard in that it's got a lot of different layers of responsibility. So now that we have our own academy, there are all sorts of things that happen out there. It's a 33-acre park. It's I mentioned it's a big building with an indoor field and classrooms, and we have hundreds of kids that come through there every week and thousands of kids that come through there every year. So we're responsible for their safety. We're responsible for hopefully their ability to use our baseball, softball, and education programs to make their lives better. So, and we have a big full-time and part-time staff. So you know, there are plenty of nights where it keeps me up. If I wake up in the middle of the night, it's hard to go back to sleep just because it's busy. You know, baseball of all the sports it is, you could argue, the most demanding because we have 162 games, and 81 of those home games we have fundraising activities. So, you know, 81 times our shop's open downtown, and you know, but every day our academy is open. So it is a lot of responsibility, but I enjoy that. I enjoy you know, working and helping to develop a terrific young staff that really make our programs go, and I really enjoy being on the front line and getting to know the kids and the families that participate and benefit from our programs.
Homeless kids or school kids? Is it school kids?
You know, Scott, that is an excellent question, and I'm really glad you asked it, because our programs really try to benefit kids from neighborhoods that don't have a lot of resources. And baseball and softball are tricky because the numbers have really declined in underserved neighborhoods. So a lot of inner city neighborhoods that used to produce a lot of great players, like the West End produced Dave Parker, you know, the great Reds Hall of Fame outfielder who hopefully soon will be inducted into the Cooperstown Hall of Fame. But over the last generation or two, that hasn't happened as much. A lot of the urban athletes have gone more towards football and basketball. So baseball's had a real challenge. So we're really trying to use our programs and our facilities to make it available to kids that don't have as much. So that's a big priority, but you also asked, we work with school kids, and we do. We work a lot with Cincinnati Public Schools and their 44 elementary schools and their 14 high schools, because people don't know it, but 75% of the kids in Cincinnati Public are at or below the poverty line. So there's a tremendous amount of need in greater Cincinnati. And then we also have this great program for the last 5 years, working with St. Elizabeth Healthcare and an organization called Pitch In for Baseball, and we're growing this great network of Northern Kentucky high school and junior varsity baseball and softball teams that we also support.
Did you always work in baseball?
Well, not always. I've always worked in sports and broadcasting. So I went to Northwestern University in Chicago, and they just had a big basketball win last night over Providence. I might just drop that in, Ron, for the sports report. But the love for baseball has always been there. I grew up in a baseball family. How many of you grew up rooting for the Reds around here? Yeah, so I was one of those families, and I had a grandfather that loved the game, and he probably took me to about 20 games a year and he taught me the game at a young age. And baseball is, it's a more nuanced sport. It really requires, an adult, a family member, a friend to kind of teach you the game. And my grandfather was that person to me. So I grew up loving baseball and really understanding baseball. And you don't have to be the biggest, the fastest, the strongest to be able to compete in baseball and softball, which makes it such a great sport. So I played it a lot as a kid, and I loved it. And sometimes I'm so emotionally attached to the Reds that I have friends who said, you should stay in basketball because you're going to lose your mind if you're working for the team that you love. But now that I've been back here and I've been doing it for 15 years, I'm able to really enjoy it without losing my mind most of the time.
Did you always want to work in sports?
Yeah, I am one of those people that just always was a sports fan and always really liked the broadcasting side, right? We've grown up in this community listening to Marty Brenneman and Joe Nuxhall call Reds baseball. So they were on the air together 31 years. And as we all know, Marty just retired after 46 years of an incredible Hall of Fame career, and he retired at the top of his game. And it's going to be a big adjustment for all of us Reds fans without him, although Tommy Thrall's terrific, and I think we're going to really love Tommy too. Congratulations, Marty. You got that, Brother Chester. So I grew up almost as much a fan of the broadcast as I did of the game. And I think I realized that even though I was an okay player, that it's really hard to make it as a professional athlete. And I thought maybe there would be a better opportunity to follow that dream into broadcasting and into the business. And broadcasting was my first entry into it. I did a lot of sports broadcasting as a college student, worked at the college radio station in news and sports and music for 4 years. And then that led me to the opportunity to be an intern with the Boston Celtics. And then that led me to my first full-time job working in Boston for the great Celtics team. So I was very lucky to be able to follow that dream. Not everybody has that good fortune.
What is the biggest accomplishment the Reds Community Fund has done?
Well, I would say it was the construction of our Major League Baseball Urban Youth Academy. That was about an $8 million effort, and we worked with Major League Baseball and P&G and Joey Votto, Brandon Phillips, Jay Bruce all donated money, and Cincinnati Children's Hospital and a number of other big community leaders and partners. So having the vision of what we wanted to build and working with the city to find a location, it was a really exciting process. But even more exciting than raising the money and being a part of the construction team and having a hard hat with my name on it and being able to walk around and see this incredible facility come to life is the fact that it really is doing good things in the every day, helping kids, helping them with their ACT scores, helping them with their personal development, helping them with their baseball and softball skills. So seeing all that effort of fundraising and construction turn into something that's making a difference really gives me a great feeling of satisfaction.
Seems like it's a lot of time-consuming work. A lot of, you have to work a lot of hours.
Scott, you're really good at this. You know that? You're asking me these questions. Yeah, you know, people say it sounds like the greatest job, and it is. You know, it's a hometown team, and I love it. It is a lot of hours, as Scott said. It really never stops. You know, we have, you know, I worked all day yesterday, and then I wanted to get out to the academy at night because Dave Parker was there, and we had about 150 kids there. And then I got home and I worked on a report because we have a board meeting Friday, and was watching the news late last night and still have my laptop open. So it takes a lot of time in sports because you're working when other people are working, but then your work is other people's play. So as Andy knows from his years in sports and entertainment, it doesn't really shut off. So you have to make a lot of sacrifices to your own personal time and for your family, and you figure out a way to make it work, and hopefully I've done that. Scott, you have done an awesome job. Let's hear it for Scott filling in today. Great job.
Well, that's our show for today. Hope to see you next week. Be kind, everybody. So long.